Hey Weirdos, this is Evan Jarvis with Make Oklahoma Weirder, and this is your local music vlog for the week. It is Friday, March the 22nd, and let's get into it. Colorfeed AV, rest in peace. I never actually went to Colorfeed AV, but I desperately wanted to go. I don't make it up to Tulsa very much, despite me wanting to do so. I've got a couple of reasons that kind of keeps me from going up there as frequently as I would like to, that I'm not going to go into, but I'd like to change that very soon. In fact, I might be going up to Tulsa this weekend. I hope I get to, because I want to check out some venues that I haven't been to yet. But one of these venues that was on my bucket list, right up there at the top, Colorfeed AV, which I will now never get to experience, recently announced that they were closing down. They were done and didn't offer any explanation. I'm sure there's reasons. Might be as simple as just a rent thing. Might be something more. I don't have any idea. I don't know anybody who ran that space. I just was aware of that space and aware of the kind of shows that they had there. Very underground kind of DIY thing. If you don't know about it, Colorfeed AV had a lot of shows that definitely screamed like counterculture, alternative kind of shows, but also like safe space shows. Reminded me a lot of Warehouse B while we had it down here in Oklahoma City, where you kind of had a rotating cast of similar bands that would play there and would occasionally get some national touring acts that were just really plugged into the DIY network, and just a really cool space for people to be, whether it be with music or with art or whatever. I know a number of bands played there that I still haven't seen that I would like to. Tom Boyle had a lot of shows at Colorfeed, which Tom Boyle was in my Big 50 this past year. They were my number 2 single of the year. And Crim is another one who I know spoke fondly of the place. They were in my top 10 music videos of the year. So definitely bands that I have been wanting to see. Plastic Psalms, another one. Bone Magic is one that I've been really curious to check out. Kind of a noise project that's been around since noise was really like a trending thing. Stuff like that. Very experimental music or punk music or metal music. Just stuff that's, a little bit maybe outside the norm. Not just outside the norm, but maybe even I don't know, harsh in some ways, maybe musically, experimental, things that just didn't fit neatly into a box. Anyway, support your DIY venues, Resonator seems to be doing okay in Norman. I'm a big fan of Resonator. In fact, the new show recommendations are up for this weekend, and one of the shows that I'm recommending people go to if they can is a show that's happening Sunday at Resonator, and I'm doing that in spite of the fact that, spoilers, I have a show that same night at a venue in the same town, like literally less than a block away. And I'm telling people to go to a show that's not my show. So that's how much I believe in Resonator and support the kind of shows that they have. It's a good show. You should check it out. But yeah, we need places like Resonator and places like Colorfeed and Warehouse B, which we've lost both of those. And, with Mothership Connection having gone recently and so on and so forth. It's just, it's a hard thing to make happen. I feel like everybody feels like they have to adhere to an alcohol sales model of business. But I think, I don't know, I think there's other ways. But anyway, it's just sad to see the DIY spaces go. Also, if you happen to be in Tulsa and you get a chance, check out the PH Community House while I'm on the topic. That's a really cool space that's up there. Kind of a similar goal, a little bit different as far as the way that it's structured and the way that it's presented, but kind of a similar group of people as far as what they're there for, which is more or less community and art and togetherness and safe spaces and all that good stuff. So it would be really tragic to me if we were to ever lose PH Community House in Tulsa, which I have been to, and which I do like very much. Moving on from that, got to bring up Bolsey. I haven't talked about Bolsey yet, and I really should have by now. Bolsey is a really underrated Oklahoma City band that made very clear on their full-length debut that they did not want to be boxed into any particular sound. They tried a lot of weird stuff on that album, and while the critical consensus was mixed on it, it was certainly an artistic statement that I think has kind of kept their ship more or less like from ever being pigeonholed. Even though it's really easy to say, well, there's a hip hop element. It's kind of like a live hip hop band, or it's like a soul band, or whatever. Like it really doesn't fit into any of those categories specifically. I mean, there's other elements to it. There's other sounds. Definitely a lot of rock, even psychedelic stuff to some extent. It's just and you know, they kind of switch things up too, from phase to phase. But anyway, Bolsey, been around for a while, underrated band, acclaimed band, but underrated nonetheless. Put out an EP called Broke, if I'm not mistaken. It's called Broke, all in lowercase, and they're saying that this is their last release, which tells me that the band is going to probably disappear, which is really kind of sad. I've only gotten to see them a number of times. I know they had like a super set at Norman Music Fest last year where they played with a whole extended band, and now I'm really kicking myself for not catching that whole thing, you know. But Bolsey, this new EP is really good and would highly recommend it. Throw some money at it. It's on Bandcamp right now. But yeah, apparently Bolsey is going to be no longer so much a thing, which I understand. I know some of the members have had certain things come up that it's not as feasible to be in the band, and it's really not the kind of project that you can just replace people. Every individual had a significant contribution to the band that lent to it having such a distinct voice that I feel like nobody in the band's really that replaceable. So shout out to Bolsey. Shout out to On Holiday as well. Also dropped an EP. This is a new pop punk band from Oklahoma City, who I haven't seen yet, but who I would like to. They've been playing a lot of shows, kind of all over the place. And yeah, if you like pop punk, it's pop punk. Pretty straightforward. I wouldn't say there's all that much going on to it. I haven't really paid a lot of attention to the lyricism. I'm sure it seems to be dealing with some stuff, but I haven't really. I've mostly been listening to the music, which is pretty much just your typical pop punk music, which for pop punk fans is going to definitely serve everything that they're looking for. So that EP dropped, and I want to make sure that you're aware of that. Bringer, rock and roll band from Tulsa, who I've been following since their EP from a few years back, dropped a new music video for a new single that I am liking a whole lot. The single is called Goldie Hawn, and it's not specifically about Goldie Hawn. It's kind of more. It's different than that. It's from the perspective of a character who is obsessed with Goldie Hawn, and the music video is fantastic. It hasn't even hit 100 views yet, and I think that's a tragedy. You should definitely check out this new music video. There's a lot that went into it. It's really clever. It's really funny, and it's a lot of fun. So check out the new Bringer single, and check them out live if you ever get a chance to. Man, I'm pretty much out of time. I do want to mention I went to a show. I go to shows a lot, but I saw Malicide for the first time, and I'm kind of ashamed to say that because it seems like everybody's known about this band, and I've been aware of them, but I had never seen them live before, and so I saw them at a show with Discordia, who are also phenomenal. But I knew Discordia was great already. But Malicide, who hasn't really put out music in a while, really, really killed it at 89th Street last week, and I can't wait to see them again. So if you're into like melodic death metal, check them out. Absolutely. Very theatrical.